Question one is, could you give me a brief description of how people and businesses make decisions?
The big trick with making decisions in business, ultimately what you're looking for is that you want to get a return on every decision you make. From a business standpoint, the goal of the business ultimately is to be more than profitable, but to get a rate of return that's desirable for the risks they take. So the biggest driver certainly has to include some kind of a profitability measure. There are other important aspects. There are a lot of businesses that look to do things to help people as they should. Bottom line, though, is you've got to get a return if you're going to stay in business.
Question two is, what does having a clear and concise data do for the process of making decisions for a person in a business?
The biggest thing that decision makers face all the time is they face a world of uncertainty. You don't know what customers are really thinking. We, as a marketer, would love to figure out what goes through the customer's mind well in advance of when that customer makes a decision, because we'd like to design our products, we'd like to design our marketing approach around what the customer is looking for. So when we make decisions and we're using data, we have to understand that the data will help us to have a better view of what the customer is thinking, help us therefore to design what we do towards what the customer wants, with the understanding that it's not perfect. It's simply a guideline, it's a gauge, and it improves our ability to reach the customer better. It's also true for competitors. It also allows us to understand what our competition is doing. It allows us to figure out where they might be trending, and that improves the marketer's ability to design our marketing approach towards the customer, while at the same time in competition with the other firms that are competing for that same customer. And then data can do other things. Data allows us to understand where we are in the marketplace. If the marketplace is growing, if the marketplace is saturated, it allows us to understand how the economy is trending. There's actually a lot of different areas where we as marketers want to study data, and we follow the data in order to help us make an informed decision. Still not a perfect decision, but a decision that is better informed, and that allows us to get more at the heart of meeting what we want.
Question three is, what are higher ups or like marketing directors looking for when they're getting pitched an idea?
Yeah, Jesse, that's such a great question. Ultimately, as marketers, I mentioned that we want to get a return for what we do. The thing that businesses have to keep in mind all the time, no matter what our other objectives are in terms of helping employees, in terms of helping people, in terms of helping customers, if we don't get a return off of the decisions we make, we can't stay in business. So when we hear folks pitch ideas, there's different components to that, but they ultimately come down to how does it ultimately lead the company to either make a better rate of return and get more sales, for example, or to be more efficient and to save money by accomplishing some of the same things. So if you're a marketer and someone's pitching an idea for a new product line, what's going to go through your mind is, what kind of rate of return am I going to get? If you're a marketer and someone's pitching an idea for a new promotional campaign, it's going to be the same answer, same question. What kind of rate of return am I going to get? So from a truly business standpoint, the biggest driver is going to be either, can I generate additional sales, can I generate additional margins, or can I be more efficient?
Question four is, how does the simplicity that data visualization gives us help make decisions faster?
The beauty of data visualization is that it makes data more understandable, and it allows the person who's examining the data to have a quicker, easier understanding of what the data is telling you. And the problem with big data that we have is that it's big. And because it's big, it sometimes is like drinking from a fire hose in terms of how to really interpret different aspects of the data. What we want is the various components of a data set that allow us certain specific insights. for example, is there a trend in a marketplace for getting an item faster, getting it slower, getting it bigger, getting it smaller, getting an item in a certain color? Is there a trend for certain services to be included? If we can find ways to take big data sets and make them easy and quick to understand, it saves the decision maker an enormous amount of time in getting at the heart of what that data is trying to say. And when we do that, it allows for turning around into making a decision on a strategy, such as a marketing strategy, much quicker. And I would even say much better if it's more informed, because the data visualization can give us a way to interpret the data quickly, and I think therefore often more accurately.
And the last question is, what negatives, if any, are there to data visualization?
Well, there are some. The biggest drawback that I think of is the cost. There's certain softwares that are very popular right now. Google's got certain software for data visualization. I think IBM does, and they're expensive. The really slick data presentations that you'll see come with high subscription costs. So one of the biggest issues is the cost. So a business would have to offset the benefits, such as the easy to interpret and quick ability to interpret, against what it's going to cost that business to do it. So softwares that are out there, they're available, they're easy to access, but they're very expensive. A second component is that I think sometimes when we don't analyze data for ourselves and put together these types of graphs or charts for ourselves, then I think there could be a tendency to not fully research all of the data the way that perhaps we should. If we ask only for the metrics, and so we get charts and tables come back quickly, there might have been other things we might have asked had we have done more of a deeper dive ourselves. And I think sometimes we miss that. I think sometimes we might miss on a question or some information that we might have found valuable, but didn't really think of to ask because we only got what we requested initially. So I think a big drawback is the potential to miss something that you might have otherwise